You're listening to the Snipers Club NRL Round 21 preview, and I'm your host, The Sniper. Welcome to all our new listeners. We really hope that you enjoy these totally free previews, and we'll keep the first Thursday pod free all the way through to the end of the season. We've been on an absolutely awesome run, pretty much non-stop for the last 3 weeks, and we got all 7 match results correct last weekend. The winners we posted on our Telegram channel, which you'll obviously be able to join should you guys become members, included Dom Young anytime at $2.25. That was for 4 points. We had Dom Young for 2 or more tries at $3.3. That was 1.5 points. We had Tyson Gamble anytime at $5.5. And we also bought his try minutes in the spread. We had Nanai to score anytime at $3.1. We had Coates anytime at $2. We had Tungo anytime at $2.25 for 3 points. And we had the Warriors to win the second half handicap as well. That was at $2, and we had that for 3 points. So let's keep this bull run up, guys, and bank some great bankroll together again this weekend. So we've got one game to preview for Thursday, and that takes us to Wynn Stadium for a basement clash between the Dragons and the Tigers. Conditions here are set to be perfect, so let's kick off with some quick stats. This is Stefano Utoikumanu's 50th NRL game. David Nofaluma is still stuck on 99 tries for the Tigers, but he does come back in this game. Across their last 6 NRL games, the Tigers have leaked 220 points, and the Dragons have leaked 218 points. The Tigers have won 4 of their last 6 games against the Dragons at Wynn Stadium. The last 3 games between these two teams have seen winning margins of 2 points, 2 points, and 6 points. Looking at the try map, the Dragons concede most tries to right wingers. This is a league high of 18 tries. And they've also conceded 13 tries to right centres. The opposing right winger here is David Nofaluma, and the opposing right centre is Stafford To'a. The Tigers concede most tries to right wingers, just like the Dragons do, and they've conceded a whopping 18 tries. The opposing right winger here is Ravalawa, so he may be set to have a bit of a field day, but his odds reflect that. Moving on to team news, we're not expecting many changes. We've had the 24-hour late mail. So for the Dragons, Sloan and Liddle come back, as does Ben Hunt. Murdoch Masilla's out, so Dan Russell comes in, with Billy Burns probably moving to the left side second row. For the Tigers, Fanua Pole goes to 18th man, with Itasi James added to the bench. Nofaluma's back on the right wing after a shoulder injury, and Dane Laurie plays at number 6. Appy should get more minutes here than he did last week at hooker. So the Dragons come into this game well rested off a bye, following their narrow loss at home, or narrowish loss at home, by 26 points to 36 against the Raiders. The Dragons overloaded right for most of that game, with Ravalawa scoring a hat-trick and Lomax scoring twice. If you compare Ravalawa to Sivo at the moment, there's such a massive difference. Ravalawa is playing with confidence. He's a similar body to Sivo. They're giving the ball constantly. He's scoring tries for fun, and he's playing rugby with a smile on his face, as opposed to Sivo, who's on a bit of a downer, and he's now going to be banned as well. So there's a stark contrast there to what's happening at the Eels. The Dragons struggled to contain Timoko at right centre last week, with his power running and crafty footwork. Lomax is still kicking at about 60% this season, which is well down on his numbers for last year. The Dragons did show spirit as they were down 18-0 after just half an hour, and they did make it a fairly close game in the second half. The Dragons dominated possession at 54%, had a higher completion rate at 82%, made more total meters and post-contact meters. They had 9 line breaks, but still ultimately lost the game. And one area where they'll definitely need to improve is their execution rate. But that should definitely improve slightly at least slightly, with Ben Hunt back in the team. Meanwhile, the Tigers improved again with their star man Jareem the Dream Buller having another lights-out performance. He scored 2 tries and he's really become their go-to man. They're looking to give him the ball as much as possible. So potentially look for him to do something similar against the Dragons. The issue they had was that they got totally shredded by Newcastle's left side attack, with Ponga dictating play and creating endless opportunities. So can Ben Hunt do something similar here for the Dragons? We've looked back at the replays of the last few games, and one theme that keeps recurring is teams are successfully isolating Brandon Wakeham, who's a small body, and he's been poor in defence, dropping off tackles. If you think about it, Appy's not much bigger, but he's a little bit better in defence himself. So those areas are interesting ones that we'll come back to in our verdicts. The Tigers completed at just 63% with only 45% possession. They made 400 metres less than their opponents. They missed 47 tackles, which is just far too high. They allowed 10 line breaks. Again, that's far too high. And those stats just don't inspire confidence, especially with all the controversy that's happening for the Dragons off the pitch, fan protests, and really poor club leadership. So let's move on to our verdict. Excuse me. The issue for the Dragons here will be limiting the Tigers scoring points. The Dragons are slightly worse defensively and should try and capitalise as much as possible when Appy's off the pitch and unable to influence play. Looking at the match result and trying to predict it here's a bit of a lottery, guys. So there's no real value in the line either way. But there are some interesting angles anyway. Ravalawa looks like banker material to score on the right wing, but he's very short. He's priced around $1.6 depending on where you shop. And Nofaluma looks likely to score on the stats, but he's been injured, he's been out of form, so we'd rather swerve him as well. Stefano Otekumanu is an absolute weapon. He weighs 120 kilograms. He was dropped from Origin 3 by New South Wales, which means he'll be able to leave the Tigers. And he'll really want to put himself in the shop window for this game. And this game's also his 50th NRL game. So he'll come out with a point to prove here. So we're big fans of him to score in this game anytime. We'll take him for 1.25 points at $8.5. That's best price at Paddy Power in the UK. So if you're in the States, look at FanDuel. The odds should be similar there. Or potentially Betfair Sportsbook as well if you're in Australia. So Utakamana is an absolute freak and we're big fans. So with both teams being defensively poor, we're happy to take a Dragons across the line as well. And we've spotted a complete mismatch in this game. We can see Ben Hunt feeding the man mountain Moses Suli as much as possible, giving him the opportunity to just trample Brandon Wakeham at will. This is an obvious tactic that neither Appy or Wakeham will be able to stop. So we take Moses Suli, anytime scorer, for 3 points at $3.5, and that's best price at Bet365. We've got one more high odds and high value bonus bet that we've kept in our back pocket, guys. So if you give us a follow on Spotify, turn on notifications, and then DM us a screenshot of that on Twitter, then we'll be happy to send you that bonus bet as well. If you guys are interested in joining, you can join directly through Spotify. If you do DM us, we'll add you to our Telegram chat. You can also join through our Telegram members channel. That link's on our bio on Twitter as well. And it's been quite a long wooden spoon preview, guys. So thank you very much for listening. Please like, share, and help our channel grow.